Hi, Candy.
Hi, Dr. DeFrancesco. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
What is congestive heart failure, and how many dogs are affected by this?
Sure. Congestive heart failure is when the heart becomes so efficient that fluid actually builds up in the lungs and, okay. Okay. Hi, Candy.
Hi, Dr. DeFrancesco. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And
Of
Jack.
So what is congestive heart failure, and how many dogs are affected?
Well, a lot of dogs are affected, more than most people think. A lot of dogs think that their dogs may just be getting old, and some of the signs and symptoms may actually be attributed to heart disease. We estimate that as many as 1 in 10 animals in the United States may develop heart disease over their lifetime, and certain breeds are more predisposed than others, and with increased age, they also have an increased incidence of heart disease. So in certain breeds, when they get older, it can be as high as 60%. Heart failure, congestive heart failure, is the stage of heart disease where fluid actually builds up in the lungs and in other body parts, and they'll start to show signs and symptoms of heart failure, such as coughing or shortness of breath.
Are there any other warning signs that we should look for?
Yeah, that's great. So early heart disease, the signs can be very nonspecific. It can just be lethargy, laying around, just not greeting you at the door when you come home. But as the heart disease progresses and it progresses to the phase of congestive heart failure, then coughing, shortness of breath are the most common signs, but you can also see decrease in appetite, weight loss, or weakness episodes or fainting episodes could also be possible.
And you mentioned that some dogs are at a greater risk for
Yes.
heart disease. Which
Yes.
ones are?
Sure. So dogs like Jack, he's a cockapoo, are at risk for mitral valve disease, which is the main cause of heart disease in dogs. So Cocker Spaniels, Cavalier King Charles Spaniels, Poodles, Pomeranians, Dachshunds, Beagles. There's a very long list of small breed dogs that get mitral valve disease, which is a heart disease of the valve of the heart. There's another type of heart disease that's also common in dogs, and that's called cardiomyopathy, and that tends to affect larger breed dogs like a Doberman Pinscher, a Boxer dog, or a Great Dane. Now, it's important to recognize that any dog can get heart disease, but these breeds are certainly have a much higher predisposition, or maybe a mixed breed that has one of those breeds in them.
And what should you do if you suspect that your dog is at risk?
Yeah, if you have a dog that's at risk, one of those breeds that we just mentioned, or you're starting to see some of those signs and symptoms that we just talked about, the next step is to go to your veterinarian and have them take a listen. They'll listen carefully to your dog's heart, listen for a heart murmur or an irregular heartbeat, or maybe even do some more screening tests if you're a breed that's at high risk for heart disease and maybe have a family history of heart disease as well. And so they'll suggest more testing such as an X-ray or an echocardiogram and some blood tests to assess where your dog is in the continuum of heart disease.
And is there anything else that pet owners can do to protect their dog from this?
So keeping your dog fit and trim is important, making sure that they don't get overweight, which is a big problem in veterinary medicine. But the main thing is early detection of the heart disease by going to your veterinarian and having them, listen, because there can be some medicines that may delay the progression of heart disease and keep them around feeling better for longer.
And do you have any additional tips or information you'd like to share with us?
I want to make sure your viewers have the website, which is yourdogsheart.com. It's a great website for all dog lovers to educate themselves about breeds that are at risk for heart disease. It's got a really nice comprehensive list of dogs, breeds that are at risk, as well as signs and symptoms to watch for, and how we diagnose and treat the heart disease so that you can keep your loved one around for as long as possible with great quality of life.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. DeFrancesco. We truly appreciate it.
I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.